News here in Austin, Texas on the 40 acres as the second-ranked Longhorns now colliding out on the dirt with the Buckeyes from the Big Ten. Texas versus Ohio State. We welcome you into our live coverage here on SEC Network Plus. Lincoln Rose along with the former Olympian Kat Osterman. And Kat, last weekend's power surge for the Texas Longhorns continued last night in their home opener, a run rule victory against Abilene Christian.
Yeah, Texas left the yard 3 different times last night. They have 14 home runs on the season in 6 games by 5 different players. So the power has continued to be a factor for the Longhorns so far this season.
3 home runs, including a record-setting home run from Reese Atwood last weekend. She crushed 58 in San Antonio. She delighted the fans who came out last night for the home opener to set the new standard here on the 40 acres. 59th home run now in uncharted waters.
Reese Atwood continues to climb the record books. She's going to set every offensive power number there is. Pretty sure we are not going to sit at 59. We may see 60, 61, 62 this weekend, but you see there she's also the program record holder with RBIs 234. She set that last year as a junior, so continuing to increase that total as well.
Hoping to put both those marks well out of reach when it's all said and done. But if there's a team in the country that can match the power of Texas based on last year's numbers, Ohio State is exactly that team. They led the nation last year, clearing the outfield wall on 147 occasions.
Well, Karen Kumar and her offenses, no matter where she's at, put up power numbers. And you see there from last year, home runs, run per game, RBIs, slugging percentage. Obviously, if you hit a lot of home runs, your slugging percentage is going to be up there. But she is known for her offense to be able to leave the yard and have a ton of power. However, out of those 147, she did graduate over 70 of those in this past offseason.
How many programs can lose to graduation and transfers 70 home runs and still return more than 70 home runs? You take a look at the lineup. This is the Buckeyes' second game of the day after they beat Northern Illinois earlier today, 7-2. They have a top 25 test here on the road in Austin. And they will be facing Tegan Cavan, last year's most outstanding player in the Women's College World Series, helping Texas claim its first national championship.
Well, the junior, in every conversation when you're talking about top pitchers in the country, she proved her own standing last year, as you mentioned, in Oklahoma City. As you see there, 33 games started, 207 innings, 2.16 ERA, looking to build on that this year as she returns for just her junior year. I feel like you talk about her so much. She should almost be a senior with Reese Atwood, but Texas is going to benefit another year with her arm.
Take a look at Cavan's scouting report.
She will throw high 60s. She has an absolutely amazing changeup that she can throw in any count. But her go-to, and you'll see, she can throw the rise about mid-thigh high. She can throw belt high. She'll elevate it above the head. A rise ball she can throw on multiple different levels and keep hitters off balance.
In Oklahoma City, she helped cap Texas' national championship with 31 2/3 shutout innings of work. Obviously, the hands-down ace here in Austin. Taylor Cruz will get the start in the top spot of the order, moving up from the 3-hole earlier today when she went 1 for 4 with a run scored against the Huskies of Northern Illinois. Cruz on the year hitting .438, the top third of the order, all hitting in excess of .400 for the Buckeyes early on this year through 5 games. Cruz last year, second team all-conference in the Big Ten as a sophomore. She actually led the Buckeyes last year in RBI in conference play with 29 teammates brought home. That was primarily as a 9-hole hitter. You talk about getting a lot of production out of that bottom third of the order last year. Gets around on this one from Cavan. Still behind in the count, 1-2.
Coach Kumar talking to us, still excited about what her offense can provide, but also looking to see who's going to step up. And you don't really fill the shoes right away of, as we mentioned, 70-plus home runs leaving your program. But just more excited to see as this team plays what their identity is.
Cavan with her first strikeout retires the leadoff hitter for the Buckeyes. First game of the day for Texas. They'll be back at it tonight against Syracuse.
Well, Cavan hammered the inner half early in the count, this time using a rise ball away. Cruz unable to lay off that as it expands out of the zone. Great start and good command by Cavan early.
Abby Wilhelm, already a home run today, one of the 2 home runs for the Buckeyes against Northern Illinois. She went 1 for 3 with that solo shot.
We talk about the power numbers, and it's not anything to balk at, but Ohio State only 9 home runs in their 5 games. We talked about Texas with the 14 in 6 games, but at the same time, Coach Kumar told us the goal is always to lead the country in doubles. So I have to believe her philosophy in leading in doubles, home runs are doubles that just get out of the yard.
What is this balk you speak of? Is it like an illegal pitch? Trying to force your baseball references into these softball broadcasts. Abby Wilhelm again in the 2-hole, trying to get things started against Gavon. Wilhelm, a transfer from Missouri. So she's familiar with SEC competition now in her first year with the Buckeyes. Had a triple and home run last weekend. Had never played first base before this year, but looks to be a fixture out there defensively. The 2-1 from Gavon. Wilhelm will shoot this one into center. That's where Caden Henry will collect it. As Abby Wilhelm with a 1-out single on the base paths. That'll give way to the DP, Haley Long. As Gavon now, for the first time, working with a base runner.
Gavon just falling behind in the count there, 2-1, allowing Wilhelm to sit on one half of the plate. She does that well. Not a bad pitch offered by Gavon. Have to tip your hat. Wilhelm did well with that outside pitch.
There was a position battle for catcher Haley Lang prevailing. Yeah, she's been swinging the bat well here in this opening week plus. See if Lang can help the Buckeyes find an early lead on number 2 Texas. A big cut right there, trying to give them a 2-run lead.
Throughout the Buckeye offense or lineup, you're going to see a lot of big hacks. Coach Kumar telling us, I don't like seeing them watch pitches. Why are we going to watch pitches and get behind in the count? If we're going to get behind the count, we're going to do it taking our hacks. So the Buckeyes going to be aggressively swinging, which if I'm Patty Ruth Taylor calling the pitches in Tegan Gavon, as you start to get second time through, if you're seeing the big swings, that off-speed pitch could be something to use early in the count.
Runner on first, Wilhelm had the 1-out single. Count evens up 2-2. I love the confidence Karen Kumar last year arrived in Columbus with, believing that her philosophy at Miami University in Ohio could translate in the Big Ten. Certainly it has. A lot of coaches coming from, quote, mid-majors think they have to change things up, and sometimes they do. But her aggressiveness certainly has translated well early on.
Well, part of it is the fact that until your philosophy is proven not to work, why change? And so I think she brought her staff over. She was excited about that. She said, we're going to keep the same philosophy, and it works. So until it doesn't work, there's not really a need to change. But she is known to have, as we mentioned, to have offensive that just put power numbers up.
That mindset dates all the way back to her playing days at Georgia Tech when she was part of the best 4-year class Georgia Tech had at the year. Of course, her head coach back then was Aaron Earlywine, who this year is on Mike White's coaching staff. Lang continues to fight. Count will remain 3-2.
Well, Aaron Earlywine, another great offensive mind in the game, and last year his impact on Ole Miss was not oversought or overseen by anybody in the game. Their power numbers went up, so I have to wonder, should have asked her if she got some of that offensive philosophy from her playing days with Aaron Earlywine.
Another payoff pitch from Gavon. It'll miss inside, and there's 2 on with 1 out for the Buckeyes. Wilhelm had the 1-out single. She moves into scoring position. Now joined on the base paths by the DP, Haley Lang. We did not see a walk from a Texas pitcher yesterday. Saw 1 hit batter. And an early free pass here for the Buckeyes.
Tegan Gavon's 5th walk on the season, and when you see only 12 innings, that's kind of a lot for the junior. She doesn't typically walk a lot of hitters. But the biggest thing I'm seeing is that changeup she's trying to throw hasn't been able to be located in precise points. It's been in the dirt. She threw one there to Lang that she was able to foul off because it was over the plate. Just more precision with her off-speed pitch.
Mentioned Haley Lang in a battle for that catcher's job. The starting catcher in this game is Emma Tolley here in the cleanup hole. Last year she was a pinch hitter in their game against the Longhorns. Texas prevailed 4-2 in Columbus. Tolley here in the cleanup spot with 2 aboard. This will be playable on the fly. Let's see if it stays in fair territory. It does, as the runners have to hold. Ashton Maloney, who made no defensive miscues last year, able to easily secure that for out number 2.
That at bat, we got to see Tegan Cavan able to locate that changeup, and Emma Tolley just out in front of that enough for the shallow fly ball.
So give way to the freshman. Here in the lineup for the Buckeyes in the 5 spot, Sarah Tarr. Tarr was 2 for 3 with an RBI and a couple runs scored. A walk as well, a productive day early today against Northern Illinois. See if she can extend this inning with Wilhelm on second and Lang on first after their single and walk respectively.
There we see Tegan Cavan hitting 69 miles an hour on that low rise outside. So on top of trying to stay on top of a good moving rise ball, they're also going to have to catch up to speed.
Cavan may be 1 strike away from getting out of this inning, straining a couple of Buckeyes on the base paths. And the Longhorns will have Maloney, Henry, and Good, the top third of the order, due up in the home half of the first. Tarr trying to extend things here. 2 strikeouts in the first for last year's most outstanding player in the Women's College World Series, Tegan Cavan. Buckeyes threatened with strand 2.
Well, Tegan Cavan doing a great job of continuing to hammer the outside part of the zone, gives Texas a little momentum coming to bat.
The home half of the first, after the Buckeyes strand a pair of base runners. Ashton Maloney will set the table for Mike White's Longhorns with Henry and Leanne Good. Good going yard last night. The top third of this lineup, and then somebody named Atwood in the cleanup spot.
Well, Leanne Good has really started this season on fire, picking up where she left off in the postseason. Her best segment of 2025 was that postseason, but the senior cashing in early, really was in the 7 and 8 hole to start season when they went to UTSA. Coach White moved her up to the 3 hole last night, rewarded, as you mentioned, with the home run there as well.
So Ashton Maloney will be the first to face Lauren Butte, who gets the start for the Buckeyes. Last year as a freshman was the ace for Ohio State. A freshman All-American when that first season came to an end. Of course, it came to an end in Knoxville, Tennessee in the NCAA tournament. 12 straight 30-win campaigns for the Buckeyes. Texas coming off back-to-back 50-win campaigns for the first time in program history. Last year, a record 56 victories, and wins 55 and 56 were pretty important.
Just a smidge, but Texas happily able to play up to get 56 wins, but also bring home that national championship trophy, obviously.
Butte got the start last year against Texas, went 4 innings in her start, allowing 4 runs on 7 hits, had a couple of strikeouts against the eventual national champions. Again, Texas went to Columbus for an invitational up there last March, so Kieran Kumar was more than happy to bring her women south here in non-conference play.
Well, yeah, I liked hearing that from Coach Kumar, where she was almost praising Coach White in Texas. It was their off weekend.
Abby Wilhelm able to field her position over there at first. Secures the opening out, retiring Maloney 1 away.
Well, it was their bye weekend, and they went and made the trip to Ohio State. Not something teams from the South typically do, so she's returning the favor. And here we see Lauren Butte. She's going to work predominantly rise in the offseason. She added her drop and change, but command of the off speed against this potent lineup is going to be key. They said it's been a little fast in game, so she's going to have to figure out how to slow it down against good hitters.
Caden Henry hitting .333 after last weekend in San Antonio and last night in the home opener. One of 5 Longhorns who have made every start here early on these first 2 weekends.
Kaden Henry, a mainstay in center field for Texas with the speed she possesses. Already a couple Sports Center type plays coming out of the junior this year.
Came into this year looking to add a little bit more of a slap to her repertoire. And sees the first strike now, 2-1. Second team all-conference last year in her first year in the SEC. Wind up hitting .409 in her sophomore campaign with 4 home runs. 3-1.
You see Boutte trying to use that drop ball in the inner half. A nice pitch to left-handed hitters. A lot of times they don't see something moving down sharply on the inner half, but that just a little bit low.
Buckeyes have used just 3 pitchers so far this year, including Boutte, who's missed on the last couple, and that will be a 1-out walk. It's going to give way to Leanne Good. Last night lived up to her last name, if not exceeded.
She drove this to the deepest part of the ballpark, and honestly, I don't know that this was hit as hard as her double later in the game, but she was able to clear the center field fence and give Texas an early lead.
And Texas would go on to run rule Abilene Christian in 5 innings, 11-0. Has a chance here to give Texas an early 2-0 lead like she did in the first inning last night. Henry after the walk, your runner on first with 1 out. The 1-0 to Good.
Now looking at Boutte's line for the season so far, the concerning thing is 12 walks in 7 innings, 13 hits in 7 innings. So a lot of base runners per inning for Boutte. Something Ohio State is hoping she settles into as season progresses.
Henry off and running. Even a perfect throw probably doesn't get her. And she gets another stolen base here this weekend. Kaden Henry now 8 for 8 to start the 2026 campaign. Out there thieving.
Kaden Henry gets such a good jump, and a lot of times she's safe by so much. People like to ask for the review, but her jump is just right on time, and she has incredible speed.
So runner in scoring position for Leanne Good. She'll shoot this one through the middle. Henry will be sent home, and it's Texas up 1-0 here in the home half of the first. A 1-out RBI single from Leanne Good. Henry with the stolen base puts her in scoring position for this one.
Well, this an off-speed pitch just right over the middle of the plate, and Leanne Good, hard ground ball up the middle. Good speed by Kaden Henry, but you can tell Coach White was waiting to see the bobble before he sent her home. Not chancing getting that second out at home plate with Reese Atwood and Katie Stewart coming to bat.
Yeah, Mike White looked a little bit more indecisive than his base runner was.
Well, I think Kaden Henry thought she got a great jump, but again, you just don't want to chance that, especially with the bats you have behind Leanne Good.
Namely Reese Atwood, Katie Stewart on deck. Big cut from Atwood.
Atwood likes that pitch up in the zone, and she sees one there and just mistimes it a little bit under that one by Boutte.
Those 89 RBI, a new program record for a single season. Underneath this one, coming in will be Cruz in left. That ball dropped. They'll still get the out, but instead it is Good, eliminated from the base paths, and that's just bad luck for Leanne. Texas will still have the base run on first, but now Reese Atwood, the base runner.
Yeah, nothing Good can do there. She's off far enough, but once it looks like the outfielder's going to catch it, have to be able to get back to first base. It's an unfortunate break.
Fielder's choice, technically. Here's Katie Stewart, who can still put a dent on the scoreboard and try to give Texas some insurance before Tegan Kavan steps back into that circle. Imagine Katie got to the ballpark a little bit earlier than her teammates. Her sister Dee Dee is in town with Northern Illinois, who's already played a couple games today. That's older sister, Dee Dee.
Has to be pretty cool to be able to be in the same ballpark and the same tournament. That doesn't always line up when sisters are playing in college softball. Have to assume, though, too, when Texas sent out their hosting schedule, Northern Illinois was trying to find a way that the two sisters could be in the same place.
Stewart will keep things going here in the first inning. 2-out base hit for K-Stu.
Boutte is trying to stay down in the zone against these Texas hitters, and rightfully so. Try to keep them in the ballpark with drop balls, change-ups. Unfortunately for the sophomore right now, they're over the plate a little bit too much. So Texas, while the power numbers aren't there, they're able to string things together with singles.
Vivi Martinez had 3 RBI in her home opener last night. That was her first chance to swing a bat in front of the home fans since the 2024 campaign. Of course, had to sit out all of last year with the injury. So last time we saw her, she was a Big 12 All-Conference shortstop and eventual All-American. Mike White gets to plug her right back in. Now back to full strength, it would appear, in 2026. Comes up with 2 outs and 2 on for Texas. Caden Henry's already come home to score this inning. This will get out of play.
Well, you mentioned her injury, and a lot of people thought Texas would be shook and a little bit probably less offensive, and defensive was the question mark with Vivi Martinez going out, but she did a great job of being able to help Leanne Good and Katie Stewart as they took over at shortstop.
She had 52 RBI 2 years ago. Somehow Texas filled that void. And defensively, of course, Leanne Good and Katie Stewart both stepped up at shortstop. Martinez looking to extend this first inning with Atwood on second and Stewart on first. Pitch will miss inside. Count goes full.
From our angle way up here, can look and kind of see top down. I thought that ball was going to nick Vivi Martinez in the thigh.
Boutte trying to get out of the inning with only 1 run, given up to Texas. As Martinez fights it off and the count stays right where it is. And Vivi batting .400 now in her 7th game of the young campaign. Two on, 2 out for Texas, up by 1 here in the first. The payoff pitch.
You can tell Vivi Martinez sitting for the middle to outer part of the plate, crowding the plate a little bit, but Boutte trying to stay stubborn and on the inner half. That a rise ball in a good location to where Martinez can't get the barrel there with how close she is on the plate.
Again, the 3-2. This may be trouble. It is a foul ball by about 4 inches. Otherwise, Texas, with everybody going with 2 outs and a full count, would have tacked on another couple of runs.
I thought this was going to fall right inside the line, but you see right out of reach of a diving tar and just inches foul.
I was generous when I said 4. Seen some good hands these first 2 days. And is that Chris over there?
That is president of the Round Rock Express, and now
proudly representing the Volts.
I was about to say, now the home of Dell Diamond is the home of the Texas Volts, so he's proudly representing his polo, but Chris Almendarez is the president of Round Rock Express in attendance tonight. I have to commend him on his hands a little bit later.
Yeah, longtime leader of that front office in Round Rock, and new co-tenant, new roommate for the Round Rock Express this year as the Volts becoming the Texas Volts. They have a pretty good general manager, I hear.
She's all right.
Vivi Martinez still at the plate, still battling. What else do you want to talk about during this at-bat for Vivi Martinez?
Well, Vivi Martinez just barely missing these rise balls. A little bit late on a few. That one just a little bit under. Sorry. Trying to get a pitch. She can get the barrel out in front too, but.
Two aboard for Texas, looking for insurance. And talk about earning a walk. Vivi Martinez extends the inning and loads the bases. Atwood to third, Katie Stewart to second, and that'll bring up last night's winning pitcher, Hannah Wells, the two-way player who went yard in her first home game. Tonight, the DP in the 7-hole.
Well, Hannah Wells, 2 hits and 2 home runs on the year, so the power from the freshman has been exploited. Coach Mike White talking about whether she's in the DP role or if she's going to be first off the bench in crucial situations. They just want to get her a lot of opportunities offensively for her to get comfortable.
As you noted, her first 2 career hits. She has simply jogged around the bases. Over to the right side, Buckeyes looking for that third out, and Texas will strand bases loaded, but not before Leanne Good drives home Caden Henry and gives the number 2 team in the nation a 1-0 lead heading into the top half of the second. Buckeyes will go grab their bats for a second time. Kiran Kumar, second year at the helm of Ohio State. We chatted with her this week. She reflected on last year, just a lot of fun that first season with the Buckeyes. No expectations. They would wind up in the NCAA tournament. She brought her whole staff with her from Miami to Ohio State. Of course, in 4 years at Miami University, they went to 4 NCAA tournaments, continued that trend last year, and they're also recognized as your staff of the year in the region.
Yeah, she did great things at Miami, and as you talk about, brought her staff over, also added Carly Spade, who played for her at Miami. She hit a handful of home runs in her day, if you know anything. She
about 21 hands full.
Over 100 home runs in her career. So she brought her on too as, you know, a younger coach that can relate to these players and talk about the buy-in and the process. So a lot of good additions at Ohio State with Kumar at the helm.
Carly Spade finished number 2 all time, behind a certain Sooner in home runs. Sammy Buick will lead things off here out of the 6th hole. Skylar Limon and Lottie Landmesser, the minimum 3 due up to face Tegan Kavan, who faced 5 Buckeyes. Buckeyes stranded 2 last inning. Texas just got done stranding the bases loaded, though the Longhorns did plate 1 for the early lead. As Buick will find herself behind in the count 1-2. Kavan with 2 strikeouts in the first. Not tempting for Buick. She was 2 for 4 with 3 RBI earlier today in that 7-2 win over Northern Illinois. She continues to man second base defensively for the Buckeyes today. And she was one of the transfers from Miami with this coaching staff. As she crowds the plate and is able to win that pitch. 2-2 now the count.
Kavan trying to go in the inner half and just a little bit off the plate. A great pitch, but it is in the river instead of on the plate.
Buick was 1 for 3 last year against the Longhorns, so she'll fight this one off. Last year was the starting third baseman. This year they wanted her experience in the middle of the infield, where she's plugged in nicely over at second base.
Like talking to Coach Kumar about the transfers from Miami. She said, I didn't even tell them I was going, didn't talk to them about it, let it happen organically. She was like, obviously if any of them went in, I was going to want them, but didn't try to encourage them to leave, just said, hey, obviously taking a new job. And then when that happened, a couple of them jumped in the portal. And
well, it wasn't just her players at Miami. Her recruiting class going into Miami, she believed all of their skills would translate to the Big Ten well. Shot right back at Kavan, who will slap it down, and I hesitate to say cat-like reflexes. present company included. And you look at what the Buckeyes have, 4 freshmen and a couple of transfers coming in, but the bulk of last year's talent back this year for the second year under Coach Kumar.
Well, it's crazy to think you have 15 returners, 70-plus home runs left. You still have 70-plus home runs returning there. And then what your 2 transfers did last year. So Coach Kumar not having to rebuild, but retooling just a little bit. But again, as you mentioned, she said we're not changing our philosophy. If it doesn't work, we'll look at what we need to tweak, but so far it's worked.
Patty Ruth Taylor just made the walkout to talk to the Texas battery, Kavan and Atwood. As Kavan had that ball shot right at her, slapped it down and recovered with some poise. 1 out, nobody on. Here's Skylar Limon. Limon, last year's second team All Big Ten, the California native, now in her senior campaign. She hit .409 last year in Big Ten play as an 8-hole hitter. And we mentioned their talent top to bottom a year ago. She was 0 for 1 with a walk against Texas pitching last year when they met in Columbus.
After the talk by Patty Ruth Taylor, Tegan Kavan looking like she's handling that outside corner just a little bit more.
Limon 1 for 3 earlier today against Northern Illinois with an RBI. Just about everybody hit for the Buckeyes early on this afternoon. Of course, things got started this morning at 9:30 between Abilene Christian and the Huskies of Northern Illinois. Buckeyes will shift their attention to tomorrow's festivities once this game wraps up. Texas has Syracuse coming up later tonight. About a half hour after the conclusion of this game. Syracuse just got done with a late 2-1 victory against Abilene Christian.
Scored the winning run in that one in the bottom of the 6th.
1-2 offering from Kavan. Limon trying to drop this one in shallow left. It's down for the second base hit. A 1-out single for Limon.
Kavan was hammering the outer half. She comes up and in, not a bad spot by any means, but Limon able to get just enough of that one to go over the head of Vivi Martinez and in front of freshman Alyssa Sneed.
Gives way to Lottie Landmesser. We really saw a big transformation in her coming into this year, a lot more confidence. Last year, just 9 starts. See that 171 batting average a year ago. Texas would welcome a double play ball to get out of this inning. Second straight inning, Ohio State finds a 1-out single. Again, they would strand 2 in the first. Texas would go on to plate a run in the home half.
You can tell Kavan continuing to challenge the Buckeyes with that rise ball. Until they can stay on top of it, I'd keep challenging them with it.
Did not pitch for her high school team.
There's a caveat to that. Iowa plays high school softball in the summer, so athletes have to choose basically if they want to play travel ball, which is where you get the most eyes and the most recruiting, or if you want to play high school ball. And Tegan Kavan obviously opted to play travel ball, get seen, play against the best of the best to end up here at Texas.
See her growth from freshman year to sophomore year.
Last year, I think the strikeout numbers increased. Tegan Kavan started throwing a drop ball. She had one prior to coming to Texas, but she didn't throw it a ton, so they didn't throw it her freshman year much. Threw it a lot more last year, especially in situations where hitters might assume she was going up in the zone.
if you grew up thinking ghosts were playing baseball in the cornfields, you might hesitate to play out on the diamond until the days were extra long in the summer as well. I had the bad luck when I went out there. They'd already mowed all the crop down. As this one left of the bag and foul. So Buick with the ground out, Limon with the 1-out single, and Landmesser with a full count against Kavan. And Teagan last year, second team All-American, first team All-SEC. 6 wins in Oklahoma City. And a third strikeout early on. 2 away.
There's the off-speed pitch we were touting in the first inning. She throws this. Landmasser just committing to a strike. A big hack as that pitch stays down and falls out of the zone.
That'll give way to the 9-hole in this lineup for Ohio State, Izzy Neal. And something we saw last year, Mike White not afraid to all of a sudden work in a 5th infielder.
With the ability of Izzy Neal to touch and go, trying to clog up the left side. You see Leanne Good over there, and Alyssa Sneed comes in from left field to play second base in the event that Neal can pull a pitch.
Izzy hit .625 opening weekend. Not the DP today, but they are more than happy to put her in the lineup as a DP as a slapper. Try to turn this lineup over with Limon, still the runner on first with 2 outs.
See Kavan trying to go ahead and feed that 3-person left side with outside pitches. The first one missed wide. That looked like a pretty good pitch. Reese Atwood out to talk to her about what the umpire said, what she's seeing at this point in time in their career. Reese Atwood probably knows just what to say to Teagan Kavan, whether it's mechanical, mental, emotional, all the things. As a pitcher-catcher duo that works together a lot, start to really get to know each other.
And you see Leanne Good feels right at home over there on that side of the bag after last year. That time they do paint the black frame of home plate.
JC Nichols playing up in case there's a bunt or something soft hit in front.
Again, that's Alyssa Sneed, your left fielder, playing second base, with the other 2 outfielders shifting to their left. Henry going to left, Maloney to center.
Well, the benefit both last year and this year for Texas is when you slide whoever's at second over your left fielder, most of the time last year when this happened was Katie Stewart. So you have infielders playing that position because Alyssa Sneed can play outfield and infield both at a high level. So it's not like you're putting an outfielder who you've gotten a few reps on defense and hope they can just plug the hole. You're putting some legit infielders over there as you shift this defense.
2 balls, 2 strikes with 2 outs. The 9-hole hitter Izzy Neal at the plate with a runner on first. That would be the tying run for the Buckeyes, trailing the number 2 team in the nation here early on in Austin. Kavan delivers, and the count goes full.
Close pitch there by Teagan, and Reese Atwood ready. She thought Limon might be on the move.
If Neal can reach, it's back to the top of the order. Taylor Cruz in the on-deck circle. This will drop down in foul territory as the count stays right where it was.
A lot of longer at-bats by Ohio State this inning, starting to just poke at the outside pitch, try to keep themselves alive until they get something they can get a barrel to. Still haven't had a rocket off the bat, but able to make Teagan Kavan throw more pitches in the second.
Again, the 3-2. Will this hang up long enough? It does, and that's your inning. Buckeyes will strand a third base runner through the first 2. Longhorns will look for insurance in the home half of the second. 8 years he has led his team to the Super Regional or beyond. Of course, Texas more often than not beyond, as they have been one of the last 2 teams standing in Oklahoma City 3 of the last 4 years. Last year lifting the program's first national championship.
Yeah, Coach White. The impressive part is the run to 15 Super Regionals. He took over an Oregon program that, well, I won't say it was flailing. It was not strong, but able to make the Super Regional in the first season and continue that run no matter where he's been. But figures a way to get the players to compete and win, and we saw it here at Texas. He took over and they made Super Regionals, and then eventually that 2022 team, while unseeded, made a run to the championship series, and since then they haven't looked back.
The bottom third of his order today against the Buckeyes, all freshmen. We saw Hannah Wells. This is, again, Alyssa Sneed, your left fielder, who sometimes moonlights as a second baseman. From the Conroe area, north of Houston.
I mean, keep your eyes peeled. Occasionally she'll be moved in over there at third base too, so.
We saw that last weekend.
One of their very versatile freshmen.
The 1-1 from Butte. And Sneed at the plate. JC Nichols getting another start at third is on deck. See if Sneed can set the table after 7 Longhorns came to the plate last inning. They strained at bases loaded, but did plate 1 run for the lead. It's a laser shot over the glove of Tar. That'll get down for extra bases into the gap. Standing up with a double, Alyssa Sneed.
Mike White has touted the power that Sneed has despite her stature. This ball low in the zone. She stays down through this right over the head of Tar at shortstop. A double for the freshman to lead off the second.
And that gives way to JC Nichols, who early on here battling Matea Lawson for those starts at third. Trying to put down the bunt to advance Sneed over to just 60 feet away from coming home for insurance.
Both Sneed and Nichols possess speed, so Coach White trying to go to the small ball with JC Nichols. And you look at JC Nichols' stat line, only 10 ABs, but then you continue looking, 5 walks so far this season already for the freshman. Good eye at the plate for herself, for her to get her speed and herself on base.
Squares around now in an 0-2 hole. Unlikely to see her trying to put a bunt down here with 2 strikes.
So unfortunately, that rise ball, not a pitch you want to offer at if you're bunting. Go ahead and pull back, be 1-1, and if they know you're bunting, who cares? You're trying to get Alyssa Sneed to third.
Ashton Maloney in the top of the order for Texas on deck. Right now it's Sneed in scoring position for Nichols with nobody out. Swinging away, and this one, a diving effort, but Taylor Cruz cannot keep it in the leather. 2 Longhorns aboard as the 8 and 9 hole hitters come through. A great effort from Cruz, just can't come up with it.
Well, this ball looks like it's gonna die, but the closing speed of Cruz, she reaches out and that just rolls out of her glove. Alyssa Sneed has to be able to go back to second if she catches that. So when it looked like it was caught, she went ahead and changed back. So another fortunate outfield situation where Texas has to be careful and isn't allowed to advance as they see the ball on the ground.
Well, last year is Maloney in that 9 hole trying to turn the lineup over. Ashton Maloney, there's only 2 active players in the country with more career hits than Ashton. And now she brings that prolific at bat to the top of the order. Grounded out to the first baseman last inning, 0-for-1 today. And now she's behind in an 0-2 hole to Lauren Butte.
If you ask Coach White, he will tell you that Ashton Maloney likes to hit out of the 0-2 count. She will be aggressive, get her timing. You'll see her slowly start to adjust through an at-bat. But really, when she gets moved to the top of the lineup, she's an unsung hero, getting herself on base for Texas. That allows your power hitters to have multi-run doubles and RBIs, or excuse me, doubles and home runs.
Found ways to improve somehow. Going into last year. And those numbers being put up by somebody at the bottom of your lineup a year ago. Alyssa Sneed led off this inning with a double. JC Nichols able to get her first base hit of the day with the single. That spilled down to the glove of Cruz. The two freshmen coming through here to get the second inning started. Maloney hoping to bring them around. Left side snagged, and neither base runner straying far enough for Sarah Tarr to try to double them up. One away.
Nice line shot by Ashton Maloney, not elevated enough to get over Tarr. However, right there with two speedsters on base, all you have to do is put the ball on the ground and allow them both to run. Ashton Maloney with her own speed, you're going to force the defense to have to try to make a good play.
Caden Henry is the only player for either team to cross home plate so far in the first two innings. Leanne Good brought her around with one out after Henry walked last inning. Stole second, put herself in scoring position for Good.
That pitch, a pitch that I think Caden Henry wishes she could have back. It's really hard to the plate. We got a little fan.
How does she know me that well? 1-1, this one a laser back towards the wall and gone. Caden Henry will touch them all. A 3-run shot, and it's Texas up 4-0.
Attacking good pitches, but this one able to stay back and centered and drive that dead center field. Great piece of hitting by the junior, as you see. Great contact there. Last night we saw her attack good pitches, just roll over them a little bit.
First home run of 2026 for Caden Henry. She had 3 RBI going into that at-bat this year, and produces 3 runs with that effort alone. And it doesn't get any easier for Lauren Butte in opposing pitching. Here's Leanne Good. And with one out, you're pretty confident we'll see Reese Atwood this inning as well. Trying to do the math, any kind of scenario where they could have good hit into a double play.
There's absolutely no scenario where we won't see Reese Atwood, that's for sure. But I think you see Texas now starting to hunt different pitches. As we said, Butte primarily up in the zone, so if they scouted based on last year, they were looking for rise balls, and as I mentioned, she had been throwing a lot more drop balls. We saw Sneed stay through a drop ball, JC Nichols able to bloop one in, and Caden Henry there able to get on time and on plane with a rise ball that was a little bit hung. So Texas getting a little bit more of a look at everything Butte's offering this season.
You saw Leanne's night last night flash up there on your screen. And she had 15 hits in the postseason alone last year. And ahead now 3-1. She's the 5th batter this inning. Texas has a single, a double, and a home run. 1 out, a line out here in the second. (3-1) from Butte. And this should get out of play.
No good catch that time.
That's been the exception so far these first 2 days at the Bevo Classic. They opted to play it off the hop. Full count to Leanne Good, nobody on with 1 out following the 3-run home run from Caden Henry. And a free pass to Leanne Good. Most pitchers will do their best not to give her a free pass, knowing what's on the horizon.
When you have someone hitting as good as Leanne Good, you have Reese Atwood behind her, so you have to pitch to Good. Then you have Katie Stewart behind Reese Atwood, and it's like Leanne Good's protected, Reese Atwood is protected, and really Vivi Martinez has come out hot, so Katie Stewart's pretty protected as well. Not a lineup I'd want to face if I were a pitcher.
Atwood first pitch swinging. Will this stay playable for the Buckeyes? It does not. Buckeyes were hoping for a cheap out there. Katie Stewart on deck. See Atwood's numbers from last year, including those 21 home runs. One and one. Reese, your SEC Player of the Week after last weekend in San Antonio, your D1 Softball National Player of the Week. Of course, got to spend some time with the women's national team in Australia this winter.
She did. She got to make that trip, and it's the first time that the women's national team has been back to Australia since the Sydney Olympics. So I'm not going to lie, a little jealous that she got to make that trip. It's, I think, the one place that we always hoped they'd host an event, and we never got to go. So had a good time. And it's always a learning opportunity when you get to go compete and be around the best of the best.
A lot of fans inquiring who put that left field foul pole in the wrong spot. Atwood well foul on a ball that easily got out of the venue and across the street.
Oh, I like that last year they started putting the actual stable scaffolding up in left field. There was some makeshift stuff out there for a while that was very questionable.
2-2 to Atwood. Runner was going. That'll be a stolen base for good, and made all the easier when that ball makes it back to the backstop. And the count has gone full to Atwood after Good walked a moment ago, and of course, before Good, it was Henry crushing one over the center field wall. And understandably, we're running low on softballs after that 13-pitch plate appearance from Vivi Martinez last inning.
A lot of foul balls in the stands, a lot of foul home run balls. And then pitchers get picky. You can't throw a brand new ball.
Payoff pitch, Atwood will foul this one off. And no traditional threat of a double play ball to get out of the inning after Good steals second.
Got a catch on a ricochet that time. 3 for 4 so far with decent catches in the foul territory for our fans.
This one will stay fair. Home run number 60 for the career of Reese Atwood. It's automatic. Go to first, on to second, third. Might as well touch them all.
Well, after seeing all that Boutte had to offer, Reese Atwood more on time with this inside pitch than she was earlier. We saw the foul home run. Good adjustment by the senior here. That pitch well inside, but great job keeping her hands in, able to get the barrel right down that left field line.
This is how Ohio State opponents felt much of last year. Mind you, this is not an easy ballpark to hit home runs in. But mom and dad have seen quite a few from their baby girl. We'll step aside, and as the start for Boutte will come to a close, Buckeyes will make a change in the circle, still with one out here in the second inning. 60 times now she's trotted around the bases, more than any Longhorn in her 3+ years here in Austin.
Question will be, where does Katie Stewart end up on that list as well? She's currently sitting at 34, but Reese Atwood going to continue to make that chase a little bit harder for Stewart. Not only with the number increase, but as I told you right as we went off air, Katie Stewart gets the change of pitchers more often when Reese Atwood has chased one from the game. So now you come up with a new game plan, and you're the first hitter to face that relief pitcher.
Well, last year Texas chased Butte in Columbus after 4 innings. That gave way to Kennedy Kay. Similar script, except a little bit earlier as Kay comes in for her second ever meeting with Texas. Last year she went 3 innings in relief in that 4-2 loss. Struck out 3 of the 10 Longhorns she faced, walked 1. But kept those bats fairly quiet. As you mentioned, Katie Stewart all too often has to pause and wait an extra moment for her next plate appearance. With so many pitching changes after Reese Atwood does her thing.
Well, it's one thing to be tasked to protect Reese Atwood by hitting behind her, but also being the one who has to be the first one to see new pitchers all the time.
Big cut on the 2-0 offering.
Kay up in the zone, all 3 pitches here. Texas going to have to be disciplined and see the ball down in the zone. Coach Kumar said she's mainly drop change with a rise to change eye levels, but so far we've seen all 3 pitches be a rise ball.
Keen observers will notice that is not Vivi Martinez in the on-deck circle. It's Matea Lawson. We'll see if she gets to swing a bat here after Katie Stewart.
Well, not a shocking move. Texas noting to try to not overdo it with Vivi Martinez early in season, so when they have doubleheaders, giving her a rest when they can.
Atwood just hit her 5th home run of the opening 2 weekends. Katie Stewart with 4 so far. All those back in San Antonio. We mentioned yesterday if Reese wasn't your SEC Player of the Week and D1 Softball National Player of the Week, decent chance her teammate would be.
Only difference, Reese with the 3 home runs, but also hitting 500 on opening weekend.
3-2 offering with 1 out to Katie Stewart from Kennedy Kay. And probably not what you're hoping for from your reliever walking the first batter she faces. That gives way to Lawson.
Well, and Kay typically pretty good at limiting the free passes. 45 walks last year and over 100 innings. Doesn't give it up freely very often, but Katie Stewart working the count there.
Now, assuming Martinez doesn't just re-enter defensively, you can move Leanne Good to short. Have Lawson play second next half inning. That's the pinch hitter here out of Illinois.
You can do that. We also last weekend saw JC Nichols slide over to short and Lawson went to third. There are a lot of options for Coach Mike White and his staff.
Yeah, it's almost too many options. First pitch, Lawson sees. That is a fair ball. They'll need to tag Stewart for the out at second. And do they say foul? Yep, that's the home plate umpire's call, and it is a foul ball, not by much.
Well, that was really close, but Carlos Guzman right there on the call quickly to say foul. And I really thought Wilhelm was more leaning foul than the ball was foul, but we're up here, he's down there.
He's got a better angle than we do. You're looking at our angle.
Oh, well, how she touches the orange bag, I feel like that definitely led her over the line.
No complaints from the Texas faithful. Texas led 1-0 heading into this inning. A couple of home runs have helped swell that lead to 6. Matea Lawson, the pinch hitter, still with just 1 out. The only out was Maloney with the line drive to the glove of Tar at short. And Lawson does not chase that 0-2 offering outside.
Matea Lawson, a freshman bat that Coach White and Aaron Earlywine are excited about. Coach White likened her to Mia Scott. A more aggressive Mia Scott will take hacks early in the count, not watch a lot of pitches. We saw that here, getting 0-2 quickly. But an extremely smart hitter that they say has power, but also just incredible knowledge of what's coming, being able to recognize a changeup, get barrel to ball.
The freshman has now worked the count level 2-2. There's 3 more freshmen waiting to come to the plate after her. Anna Wells, Alyssa Sneed, JC Nichols, the bottom third of the order. And Wells was your winning pitcher yesterday in that run rule victory over Abilene Christian. Talk about a great opportunity for her. She got the ball in that start in the home opener for the defending national champions. Gavon getting the start today. They'll throw behind Stewart back in time, but they do retire Lawson, the pinch hitter, for the second out of the inning. Well, Hannah Wells swung a bat and also pitched quite well.
Yeah, Hannah Wells went ahead and stifled Abilene Christian's offense, and then on the flip side said, hey, I'll help myself out. Nice little home run by the freshman here at McCombs. And what a debut at your home field.
She is the 9th batter to come to the plate this inning. And the inning began with back-to-back hits from a couple of her classmates, Alyssa Sneed and JC Nichols, who have both scored already. Katie Stewart, the lone base runner, over there on first. Buckeyes just trying to get back into the dugout, as they'll have their top of the order coming up for a second time. Two balls, no strikes. The reliever this inning, Kennedy Kay.
Okay, not extremely in command of throwing called strikes, but Texas has been aggressive at the pitch up in the zone. Her speed looks a little bit more than Boutte, which has allowed Texas to be aggressive, but come up empty.
Stewart on a delay, and that will end the inning, as Hannah Wells will get a fresh plate appearance in the third. But first, it's the Buckeyes looking for answers after Texas goes deep twice in the second inning.
Well, Caden Henry got the party started dead center field, and then who else would you expect to come up with big home run number 2 other than Reese Atwood as Texas takes the field? List right now, everyone else will be graduating this year. We'll see who can join Tegan in this list next year, but the junior making a name for herself as she went steamrolled really through Oklahoma City.
Of course, Texas fans have already seen Jordy Fromm, as Texas met the Huskers twice in San Antonio last weekend. Jordy already made one name for herself, so she changed her name and is looking to make another name for herself.
She is.
Of course, Gavon last year's a sophomore, brilliant.
Well, there you see 31.2 innings, a 0.00 ERA, and that is absolutely insane to think about when you think about the fact they had to face Florida, even though Mac Morgan started that game. She had to pitch against Tennessee, she had to pitch against Oklahoma, and then Texas Tech twice. 0 earned runs. Absolutely on a mission last year, and I think the big key, limiting those walks. You see just 6 walks in 31 innings. Incredible outing by Tegan Gavon for Texas in Oklahoma City.
Just now seeing the top of the order for the Buckeyes for a second time. This is Taylor Cruz, who kind of has an Ashton Maloney-esque type transition from last year. A brilliant 9-hole hitter. This year entrusted top of the order, at least in this game. We saw her in the 3-hole earlier today against Northern Illinois.
When you have a 9-hole hitter that can produce, as soon as that leadoff spot opens up, it makes sense, not just because of their production, but now you get more at-bats for that athlete. More at-bats usually results in either more runs, more on base, or more hits, or all of the above. So a nice move for Karen Kumar.
Yeah, one difference between Cruz and Maloney was last year Cruz wasn't even a starter for the first month of the season before she would go on to be second-team All-Big Ten. Leading off here, ahead in the count 3-1. This one could carry out towards the wall, and the Buckeyes are on the board. That's the first run allowed at home by Texas here. Limited sample size through the first 2 days.
Yeah, just the 8th inning for Texas on the defensive side, but
16 home runs last year for Cruz. And she crushes this one.
Alyssa pitch on the outer half and not out enough and up a little bit too much. You want that either below the belt or up at the letters, so right in the wheelhouse of the power hitting Cruz.
Now 3 home runs for Cruz the first couple of weekends. Also a couple of triples on her resume. See if some of her teammates can follow. Wilhelm past the diving effort over there on the left side as Texas is using J.C. Nichols at shortstop. As again, Texas with the first couple of home runs tonight. But we know what the Buckeyes are capable of. So much of that offense from the long ball a year ago.
51% of total runs via the home run. Pretty incredible that keep the power coming that consistently. A lot of times you have to manufacture runs at some point against pitchers who have good off speeds.
So after the home run, Abby Wilhelm with the single is 2 for 2 today. Here's Haley Lang, who walked last inning, or pardon me, 2 innings ago. And Lang today, the DP. Buckeyes up to 4 hits in 2+ innings. This will get through on the left side. They are just testing the shortstop for the Longhorns. Nichols, who shifts over from third this inning. I don't know that there's much more JC could be doing about these balls. They are just narrowly eluding her.
Yeah, the first one, I think Tegan Cavan got her glove on it, so it redirected it a little bit from Nichols, and that one just in the 5-6 hole again. Nothing she can do, although Leanne Good coming over. I don't know if Leanne Good doesn't have her defensive card or if she's saying J.C. Nichols doesn't have one, but they have cards that tell them where to play based on each hitter and their tendencies.
So again, it's an all-freshman left side of the infield for Texas. Lawson going to third after her pinch hit opportunity last half inning. Nichols sliding to short. Still Good and Stewart on the right side, who were your shortstops last year. Called strike to Haley Lang. We've mentioned Carlos Guzman, your home plate umpire. Analia Moresi and Jason Mueller out in the field, rounding out the 3-person crew. Buckeyes threatening. They've already plated one here in the third. With nobody out. Still 2 aboard.
Oh, interesting enough, Tegan Cavan's not really falling behind in the count. 8 of 13 first pitch strikes, 9 of 14 after the first pitch here. Just hasn't been able to throw the hammer and put away hitters as quickly as we've seen in the past.
1 ball, 2 strikes to the 3-hole hitter Lang. And Emma Tolley on deck. Lang, one of 3 runners left on base so far by Ohio State through those first 2 innings. And I'm being distracted with the knowledge that Hookham has a Cupid costume.
Oh, how cute. It's got a halo and everything.
Apparently does not have a Friday the 13th outfit.
No one wants that outfit, Lincoln.
Two balls, 2 strikes. In Taylor Cruz, the home run put the Buckeyes on the board. Wilhelm is singled. Lang able to single as well. Tolley still battling after she flied out to right. Her previous at bat, 0 for 1.
I really like the aggressiveness of Ohio State. Very few strikes are called looking. The few that have been borderline. But I think that's why we're starting to see some offensive production second time through, as they got their timing first time through by taking their hacks.
Cavan will blow the 2-2 past Tolley. First down of the inning.
Kavan able to elevate this one enough. The last inside pitch she threw a little low, mid-thigh high. This one elevates well above the belt. Tolly unable to stay with it.
Fourth different Buckeye. Kavan has fanned. Here's Sarah Tarr. Struck out to end the first inning. Tarr hitting .444 with runners on base. Hitting .429 overall on this young campaign. Again, Buckeyes already have a game under their belt today. That's 7-2 win against Northern Illinois. Longhorns playing their first of two today. They have Syracuse coming up in the nightcap. And they'll do it all over tomorrow. You'd think it's Groundhog's Day, but it's Valentine's Day, I'm told, tomorrow. They will play again, the Buckeyes and the Orange of Syracuse, for wrapping up the weekend on Sunday against Northern Illinois. Two and one to Sarah Tarr.
Well, these early season tournaments give teams so many opportunities to get players on the field, but also, as you mentioned, and you've mentioned a couple times, opening weekend, playing top-notch competition right out the gate to test where you're at early in season.
Texas beat number 9 Nebraska on opening day. That is their highest ranked victory for a Texas team that has, I think, won their last 30 opening day games. And in general, just have done a lot of winning with that guy at the helm. Only third base unoccupied. This one opposite field. Maloney back towards the wall, will play it off the wall. Buckeyes will find their second run of the night, as ultimately Wilhelm scoring from second, laying to third, and it's a double off the wall from Sarah Tarr.
This pitch low and in, but not in enough, and Tarr able to drop the barrel and slice that almost to right field. Ashton Maloney, I thought she was going to be able to catch that, but rightfully plays it off the wall. You don't want to get to the wall and that be over your head, and then nobody's there to play the ricochet. But Ohio State really making Tegan Kavan work. Seeing a lot of pitches each at bat, therefore getting their timing.
We mentioned so many of the Buckeyes' base hits last year. Even if they weren't home runs, they were extra base hits. That time, at least for Texas, Maloney knows how that wall plays so well out there in right. That'll be the end of the start for Tegan Kavan. No doubt we'll see her again this weekend. It'll give way to the woman who picked up the save last year in Columbus against the Buckeyes, Citlali Gutierrez, when you rejoin us here on SEC Network Plus. And let me see if a little premature, Patty Ruth Taylor's going to leave Tegan in there.
It looks like Gutierrez was on the sideline ready to come in too, but after a quick conversation, Patty Ruth Taylor leaves Kavan in and back to the dugout.
Buckeyes have 2 in scoring position, nobody on first. And Sammy Buick due up. Buick led off last inning with that shot right at Tegan Kavan that Kavan slapped down and was able to throw over to first. And the first pitch strike to Buick out of the 6 hole tonight.
That pitch right there that Tegan Kavan threw first pitch, it splits the corner. It's a good height. If you can go there and then just continue to elevate, that's where she's gotten her strikeouts, has been upper part of the zone, not in the zone, but expanding out, chest to top of the head high. That off-speed pitch also been a little inconsistent tonight.
Texas brought 9 to the plate last half inning, scoring 5 of their 6 runs, the reason why they are still in front. Buckeyes trying to continue to chip away at this deficit, scoring their first 2 runs here in the third. And Buick now behind the count 1-2. I mentioned Sammy Buick coming over from Miami. And as a cannon goes off in the distance, it's a reminder we've got Dueling Diamonds tonight. Softball got started last night, continues tonight. Of course, for baseball tonight is their home opener. opening series against UC Davis. Also streaming here on SEC Network Plus. High expectations on both diamonds this year. Kavan facing the 6th batter this inning for the Buckeyes. As the count still at 1-2 with 1 out. And Buick lays off that one. And she'll live to see another pitch.
Looked like Reese Atwood might have asked if he could ask for help, but no help asked there on that. That was a pretty hefty check swing.
And Buick gets around on this one. That ball carries in, carries on out. A 3-run shot by Sammy Buick. And the Buckeyes have pulled within 1. Second home run of the inning for Ohio State. An inning in which they've plated all 5 of their runs so far.
Well, there's a changeup and just right down the heart of the plate. Sammy Buick gets the barrel there, a line shot, and you see Snead out there in left field. Thought she might be playing it off the wall, but that gets right over the top of the left field wall. 2 good of pitches with 2 strikes right now by the Texas pitching staff.
1 batter later, now Citlali Gutierrez will make her way out to the circle for her home debut for Texas. We'll step aside. Passo's group looking to, quote, rebound after missing out on a 5th straight national championship. And of course, the SEC, who produced 5 of the 8 teams in last year's Women's College World Series field, well represented again in the top 25. So Hannah Wells was at the plate. Remember when Katie Stewart was caught stealing to end that last inning. So Wells leads off here, and 1 pitch is all it takes for Kennedy Kay to retire her. Of course, Kay came in relief last inning. And sometimes we say your offense is out there too long for a pitcher. I think she was okay that a 6-run deficit was completely vanquished before she came back out.
Yeah, Kennedy Kay got time to probably collect her breath a little bit, decrease the heart rate. Anytime you get put in an inning that's a big offensive output, a lot of times there's an adrenaline rush. But at the same time, if she wasn't fully warm, got time to go throw a little bit, but a lot to her advantage having a tie ball game and being able to take a breather after being put in the 2nd inning.
That double and run scored by Snead were last inning when she led off the 2nd inning. And Texas at the time was up just 1-0. Longhorns would put up 5 in the 2nd. Buckeyes have responded with 6 in the top half of this inning. You see her numbers last Sunday against UTSA. And she patiently waits for the 2-0 here from Kennedy Kay. The action clock still at 3 and counting down. Now it'll make its way out onto the streets. So Snead at the plate, J.C. Nichols scheduled to bat after her fellow classmate here. And is back to the top of the order for Texas if they can get a base runner.
That home plate ump is going to give that inside corner, and it's a little wide to me. I would stay there as a pitcher. As hitters, they have to realize that that ball, even though you think it's in a little bit, it's being called a strike.
The 2-2 from Kay. And above those 5 letters of Texas.
Yeah, Kay tried to stay there. That on the inner half as well. That one just floated up a little bit.
And Snead a double last inning. One of the 5 Longhorns to score in the 2nd. Payoff pitch, nobody on, 1 out. And he gets the barrel of the bat well out ahead of that one.
Well, after seeing 2 inside pitches, Snead ready for that one. Just out in front a little bit, but continuing to put pressure on Kay as she works this full count.
Sneed early on here hitting .556. Your 8-hole hitter tonight for Texas. And that turned out to be an easy decision for her. A 1-out walk. Texas has a potential go-ahead runner on.
A good at bat by the freshman, continuing to see good pitches, foul some off. Also recognize the changeup. That off-speed pitch didn't fool her. In fact, I think it might have floated in, and while it was ball 4, I think it also nicked her. You saw home plate umpire call dead ball.
Yeah, it is officially a hit by pitch on that full count.
I always laugh when there's 3 balls and then they hit. I'm like, just which way? Just call it a baseball ball at this point. Unless you squared them up in the back.
So JC Nichols will come up. Alyssa Sneed does not yet have her first stolen base as a Longhorn. We'll see how aggressive they are here in a tied ball game early. Nichols pops up the bunt, and it's just beyond the reach of Tolly, the catcher.
Well, second time here, JC Nichols has tried to bunt, both times chasing the ball up in the zone. Has to recognize when you can get on top of it, when it's safe to pull it back and take ball 1. A little more discipline needed to put that bunt down.
Nichols started tonight as your third baseman. Last inning moved over to short. 1 for 1 this evening at the plate. Runner on first, Alyssa Sneed with 1 out. We count 2-1.
As much as Kay has been up in the zone, I would guess that Coach White's going to be a little bit more conservative with Sneed, even though she does have speed.
Runner is going. It's a good throw, but not in time. Sneed with her first stolen base as a Longhorn.
Good thing we didn't bet on that. He put her in motion next pitch. A great slide by Sneed. The throw actually beat her to the bag, but she slides out wide. Again, a ball up in the zone puts Tolly in a good position to throw. But Sneed goes wide to that back corner, out of the reach of Tar. Heads up sliding and base running by the freshman.
So she's in scoring position for Nichols. And now Nichols will join her on the base paths with 1 out. Now you're back to the top of the order. This is the second straight inning. Your freshmen in the 8 and 9 spots have come through for Ashton Maloney and company.
Well, and a big opportunity here for Texas. The discipline needs to be there to lay off that up pitch. Even though that's not Kay's bread and butter, they're throwing it a lot tonight with Texas being aggressive in the upper half of the zone. But while Ashton Maloney has some power, can power slap a little bit, needs to be disciplined. If she can work a walk and put bases loaded, it's going to put more pressure on Ohio State.
6 different Longhorns have at least a hit tonight. Maloney looking for her first. A ground out to the right side and a line out to the left side. Last inning lined out to the shortstop Tar. The first pitch strike from Kennedy Kay. Ashton Maloney seeing Kay for the first time tonight. Seventh all-time meeting between these two programs. The 0-1. Chance to get out of the inning, but not with the speed of Maloney. They'll get out number 2. Runners on the corners now. Texas is 60 feet away potentially from reclaiming a lead. Buckeyes 1 out away from keeping it level, getting back into the dugout.
An interesting opportunity here for Texas. They have a first and third with speed at both bases. At the same time, you have Caden Henry up, who is a walk and a 3-run home run on the day, so seeing the ball well. And let's not forget, Tolly's thrown 2 really good throws down to second base.
Of course, Leanne Good is on deck, so she protects Henry. Then Reese Atwood is after Good, protecting Good. Stewart's after her. There's just no easy decisions to, let's go ahead and walk this dangerous hitter because we think we can get the next one out.
It's almost like roll the dice and pick which one you're gonna try to go after.
Well, Texas is more than happy to get into a pickle here. And Maloney gets back in time. And again, she's going to try to reinitiate the pickle. Texas thinks they can manufacture a run. They almost did get an errant throw. In the end, Maloney will settle for taking second. For the Buckeyes, that's far from the worst case scenario.
Well, heads up by Ashton Maloney. She could have taken second all the way, but the whole point is to try to see if you can get Snead home, even if it means she gets in a rundown and gets the third out after scoring. Does a great job of that. As you mentioned, the throw home almost errant, but Texas with 2 in scoring position now.
2-0 count to Caden Henry. Now first base is unoccupied. And there's not a lot of room behind the plate, but fortunately, Texas has a Snead for speed. And it's Texas back in front. Sprinting home the final 60 feet.
Okay, staying down in the zone after Caden Henry went yard last at bat, but this pitch gets away from Tolly. And Alyssa Snead heads up as soon as she sees that to get away from the catcher. Gets herself in there safely.
No pickles necessary.
The speed of Texas will put a lot of pressure on a lot of defensives this year. Mia Scott could run, but after Texas was informed of her torn ACL, they didn't steal her as much. She just took extra bases when a ball hit on the offensive side, allowed her to. But we've talked about the speed of Caden Henry. Ashton Maloney can run, Leanne Good can run, Alyssa Snead, JC Nichols. All of those are threats to steal and take extra bases.
All right, so Texas back up by 1. Caden Henry still at the plate. Mind you, she has scored twice tonight, including the 3-run home run last inning. And it will not be a 4-pitch walk to the number 2 hole hitter.
Oh, good take there by Caden Henry. Ahead 3-0. That pitch painted the inner half. Not a pitch you want to be aggressive on unless you're really sitting inside.
Not chasing on that one. Texas runners on the corner, still threatening with 2 outs. And up comes Leanne Good, who's yet to be retired tonight. RBI single in the first, walked, stole a base, and scored in the second. Comes to the plate for a 3rd straight inning. A beautiful bunt. Will it roll foul? It does. At that point, Abby Wilhelm had no choice but to hope it would take a turn.
Well, heads up on the offensive side by Leanne Good. She has power, so they're playing her back, but she also has speed. That was almost a bump base hit, just mere inches of that rolling foul.
6th batter of this inning for the Longhorns. 1 run has already come home. Another one could be 60 feet away. And Texas will take second as Henry, after her walk, now in scoring position as well, along with Ashton Maloney on 3rd.
Well, Caden Henry taking every opportunity to get a steal when she sees it open. Incredible speed by the junior. Qualified for the state track meet when she was in high school. Can't remember if it was a 100 or 200, but the speed was an asset there as well.
Texas has a few track stars on their roster this year, including a transfer from Oklahoma State. We saw it last night. Two-one offering pending here from Kennedy K to Leanne Good. With 2 on for Texas, Longhorns have reclaimed a lead after Ohio State scored all 6 of their runs to erase a 6-run deficit in the top half of this inning. They did it with the long ball, 3 home runs.
Last pitch there by Kay. Pretty good pitch. I thought that would be called strike 2.
She walked Henry a moment ago. And good will get away from her as well. Bases loaded. And for a 3rd straight inning, it's Reese Atwood coming to the plate with teammates on the base paths.
Right now, Kay and her drop ball just missing a little bit low in the zone. Has to be able to bring that pitch up a couple inches for it to be knee height and something the umpire can call.
All-time RBI leader at Texas as of last year. Claimed the home run crown for a career already this season. There will be games with higher stakes than this one, where you would consider walking Atwood with bases loaded for this reason. Last inning, a 2-run shot, 60th of her career.
Second home run in as many nights, and really 3rd in 3 games, with her hitting the career tying home run record in the last game in San Antonio last weekend.
And she and Texas saw Kennedy Kay in relief last year. Kay performed very well in relief. Texas would hang on for the 4-2 win. Bases loaded, bases cleared. The magic of the bat of Reese Atwood. Texas back up by 5.
There is absolutely not a hitter in Texas history that you want up in the most clutch situations more than Reese Atwood.
I do not take it personally for the folks at home who rolled their eyes when I suggested some coaches would walk her with bases loaded. You might see that in conference or in the postseason.
Well, a bases loaded walk, as you mentioned, only gives up 1 run, and the way Reese Atwood can get barrel to ball and not just leaving the yard. She is just a consistent hitter all the way around, but right now Texas hunting pitches and doing it at an elite level.
K-Stu looking for a little deja vu just underneath that one, but 1 pitch before the final out. Reese Atwood, 61st home run of her career, a grand slam. And it's saw the bats of the Buckeyes in the 3rd inning. They were down 6-0. 3 home runs would help erase the deficit.
Well, yeah, Ohio State got the scoring party started in the top of the 3rd, but the power surge didn't stop with Ohio State. On the flip side, Texas responds.
Cruz, Buick, and Limon for the Buckeyes. Unfortunately for them, Texas had a chance to answer, and for a 2nd straight inning, the Longhorns put up 5 of their own. So it's Texas back up now, 11-6 here in the top of the 4th inning. And we are back to the first of the 3 home run hitters last inning. As Taylor Cruz led off the 3rd and leads off here in the 4th. In 1st inning, that Citlali Gutierrez now starts after coming in midway through last inning. This will get out of play. Gutierrez had the save last year in Columbus in that 4-2 win. This is only the 2nd time these 2 teams have met here in Austin. The Buckeyes won that 2018 meeting 8-5. I'm tempted to label that a pitcher's duel now.
It might have been.
Texas leads the all-time series 4-2, including last year's win, in which they won 4-2.
Ohio State, not somebody we match up with very often. Honestly, I don't remember playing them while we were and during my career.
I think you remember playing Texas's next opponent tonight, Syracuse. You pitched your 16th no-hitter against the Orange on opening day that year. That other shade of orange.
We did. We opened up out in Arizona.
In all conference last year, Cruz off to a nice start here. As the table setter for the Buckeyes, and she's trying to get on for a second time, but Alyssa Sneed, oops, her only misstep after retreating back into left field. Boy, talk about the aggressive base running from Sneed, giving Texas that one-run lead. Little did she know, a batter later, she could have just jogged home.
If only as athletes we had a glimpse into the future. Occasionally it might relieve yourself of a couple extra sprints.
I'm not sure if on the ESPN app if we can scrub forward or not. No spoilers if you know what's going to happen. Wilhelm, you see, trying to add to her 2-for-2 night. Couple of singles and a run scored.
Wilhelm has done a good job of just staying up the middle. She hasn't necessarily pulled anything hard foul, but just kept it simple, barrel up the middle and 2 singles.
Top third of the order, 4 for 6 tonight for the Buckeyes against Texas pitching. Wilhelm with 2 of those hits.
I love the Texas faithful. They want everything called a strike.
They were forgiving of that one.
So Lali Gutierrez has to be able to attack the strike zone with both her hard stuff, her drop that can hit upper 60s, as well as her off speed. She has a changeup and an off speed curve she can use, but has to be able to challenge the zone with both speeds.
This will carry Maloney in front of the warning track. Has it well measured, 2 away. So again, the Buckeyes riding that high, last inning into the dugout, plating 6. Texas promptly extinguishing that momentum with 5 runs of their own. And that'll bring back your 3-hole hitter Lang with a walk, a single, and a run tonight. And that one almost bit her around the ankle.
Oh, looking around the stands tonight. Looks like Hookham, you can't see behind him, but it says kissing. Oh, there we go, kissing booth. So free kisses from Hookham, as well as your picture. Hookham gonna get a lot of action tonight.
Price still seems a little steep. 1-1. In first 2 batters retired. That's the first time tonight that Buckeye hitters have gone down in order. First 2 at the plate. They brought 5 to the plate in the first. Another 4 in the second, and batted all the way through last inning. See if Gutierrez can face the minimum here against the top third of the order. Lang not chasing, 3-1.
Gutierrez missing off the plate there. Trying to use that off-speed curveball to see if she can get Lang to chase.
I believe Lali's first game here was in high school in the 2A state championships with Sanford. Full count with 2 outs, nobody on.
Well, that was a great job by Reese Atwood getting the call on that one. Off-speed curve. Looks like it was going to be a little low, but great job by Reese staying under that pitch.
3-2 from Gutierrez left side. Lawson, your shortstop, and Stewart having to come off the bag. There's an argument for an infield single there either way. The Buckeyes will not go in order. As Lang extends this inning, runs the bases for a third time.
Well, this a ground ball in the hole, and J.C. Nichols does a good job getting around it, but a good throw I think she has there. That just takes Katie Stewart up off the bag, and while Stewart tries to apply the tag, Lang already passed first base.
That's a lot messier a couple years ago when you don't have the two bases over there at first.
Oh, 100%. That orange safety bag now allows the runners to run through that.
Chance here for Texas to get out of the inning. Buckeyes bring four to the plate, cannot answer the 5-spot Texas put up in the third. Longhorns will look to add to their 11-6 advantage here in their second day playing in front of the home crowd. An eventful 3.5 innings so far. Texas had the first 6 runs. Buckeyes had the next 6. Texas the most recent 5. A fun battle back and forth. And Texas, no signs of slowing down, has put up 5 the last couple of innings. As 3 Buckeyes have gone deep, 2 Longhorns, including Reese Atwood with a grand slam last inning. And have sent a few souvenir balls flying out of this ballpark. Is McCombs Field just getting soft with age? Is it just letting a few more home runs out willy-nilly?
You know, yeah, I guess maybe, I don't think the fence has shrunk, but maybe with old age it's starting to slump just a little bit.
10-foot wall, not to be confused with a $10 million match recently. That's going to help continue to improve and upgrade here, as we've seen all throughout Texas athletics. And a big part of that from, again, the McCombs family and their lasting legacy.
McCombs itself has not gotten much of a facelift over the years. They obviously added.
It's had some work done, including an additional 300 seats this year.
They did add some bleachers this year. We've redone the wall in the outfield. It was windscreen originally, so there's padding out there and obviously the nice signage. They did turf the foul areas, but the field itself, the stands, other than the new bleachers, have not been really touched. So I know Texas looking to obviously keep up with the times. When it was opened, it was a pristine stadium, one of the best in the country, and obviously now with a waiting list of 800 for season tickets, need to find a way to have more seats.
Lawson down on strikes, and I start here for Kennedy K. Again, retiring the first batter. Last inning, that was Hannah Wells. Wells 0 for 2 tonight. She is just focusing on hitting this evening, your DP. Last night, that was a fair ball. For now, it's just a car insurance claim.
Hannah Wells got jammed a little bit her last at bat for a ground out, and this time you can see expecting the ball in the inner half. Gets the barrel there, just around it a little bit too much.
And they're going to give a new wrist comms device to K.
See her putting that watch on that watch. There's either an iPad or a clipboard with a transmitter that pitching coach hits the right buttons to tell the pitcher and catcher and anyone on defense what pitch is coming. Can read it straight on the watch there. Makes it pretty simple, hard to pick.
And if you ask it what day it is, it tells you game day. So Wells pulled that last one foul. Let's see if she can find another one as she falls behind in the count 0-2. And the freshman Lawson just struck out. The freshman Wells at the plate. Another freshman Sneed, and Nichols on deck and in the hole. The youth movement here for Texas.
Well, and with that youth, you want them to learn from each other. Lawson struck out on 3 changeups, so Hannah Wells should learn that that's a pitch Kay's going to bring in the zone.
Tarr waits patiently for that ball after Wells gets on top of it, and Tarr with enough arm to retire the DP for Texas to a win. That gives way to Alyssa Sneed, who has not been an easy out tonight. She has reached both times, a double and was hit by a pitch. Got her first steal as a Longhorn last inning. That proved pretty vital. And she broke the 6-6 tie when she came home the final 60 feet on a ball that got past the catcher, Tolley. Texas would add 4 more after Sneed. Kennedy K hoping to face the minimum here in the 4th. Neither team has worked a 3-up, 3-down defensively as of yet.
Right now, Sneed just looking to make something happen with 2 outs. Wouldn't be surprised if she possibly drops a bunt and tests the defense of Ohio State as well.
This one down the line, but Cruz showing off her range. And the Longhorns are retired in order, and unlike last night, they will have to bat in the 5th. What will the score be when they bring their bats back? As Taylor Cruz has been able to connect tonight and also flash some leather. No shortage of softball to be had, especially on the ESPN app. And of course, Texas just continuing to get battle tested here in non-conference play before they gear up for their second go-round in the SEC. SEC right now boasting 10 teams in the top 25 in the ESPN.com USA softball poll. Defending national champions were tied for first entering the year with that top 25 loss last weekend, dropped 1 spot behind Texas Tech. If you're Texas, I think you're pretty pleased going opening weekend 3-1 against top 25 opponents.
When you play great competition early in season, you have the ability to test new arms against some ranked opponents, get feet wet in crucial matchups, and Texas did that. Obviously, the loss to Nebraska, they didn't start their ace, Tegan Cavan. They started Hannah Wells and might have found a number 2. We'll see. I'm sure Cam Salmon will get the start later tonight against Syracuse, but she pitched extremely well coming in relief in that loss to Nebraska.
Sarah Tarr, we thought was going to be the last batter that Tegan Cavan was going to face after her RBI double at Ohio State within 2 runs of the Longhorns, trailing 6-4 at the time back in the 3rd inning. Of course, Cavan would see one more batter, Buick, who would hit the 2nd of 3 home runs that inning against Longhorn pitching. Carries out towards shallow left, and Nichols is there.
Great job by Gutierrez there against Sarah Tarr, starting off the at-bat with a strike, able to mix her off speeds, which got Tarr out in front, the easy fly ball to JC Nichols. Needs to continue to be able to pound the zone with both speeds.
Gives way to Buick. The only batter in this lineup Gutierrez has yet to face. And the first pitch strike, Buick the 3-run home run 2 innings ago. That pulled the Buckeyes within 1. At the time, 6-5. Off the glove of Gutierrez, but nothing that Nichols can't overcome to a win.
Well, thankfully, Gutierrez didn't deflect that ball at too bad of an angle because Nichols was already moving up the middle behind her to field that. Sometimes as a pitcher, you have to realize the speed of a ground ball. If your defense can already get there, let it go. But a lot of times the reaction is just to stab, and if you knock it away, you end up giving up a base hit.
Here's Skylar Lamone, whose solo home run as the first batter to face Sitlali tonight. Tied up the game at 6. Of course, Texas answered with 5 runs almost immediately in the home half of that 3rd inning. We've been scoreless ever since. over to the right side. Charging is good. Across her body. Not in time. An infield base hit on a bang-bang play. And at the moment, Texas still doesn't have a 3-up, 3-down defensive inning.
Well, talking about Citlali Gutierrez not stabbing at the ball, that's one you have to go get. That's weakly hit. It's not getting all the way to your second baseman. One more step or two forward. Leanne Good was actually going to have to throw across and behind her body.
Gutierrez got Lottie Landmesser to ground out to the shortstop back in the third inning. Landmesser 0 for 2, and a throw into center from Atwood. A rare miscue will concede the base to an otherwise not going Skylar Limon. And the batter has every right to stand exactly where she was. Now, if she had started to lean forward or back, then she could have been called for interference. And that's what Mike White's asking about.
Yeah, as long as Landmaster stays in the box, she has the right to be there. Reese Atwood bumping her out of the way, but it's more of the middle infield not talking and telling Reese to hold it. The runner wasn't going.
This will be foul with the runner going. Again, there's 2 outs. So runner on second, but Texas just needs 1 to get out of this inning without any damage done. Landmesser trying to extend this inning as Skylar Limon did so that Izzy Neal can come back to the plate in the 9-hole. Off the handle, and the Buckeyes will strand a base runner as Texas has shut them down the last 2 innings. Longhorns with a chance to possibly walk it off with a run rule victory for the 2nd straight night if they play it here in the home half of the 5th. Already 11 runs, looking for more. And even without a Mia Scott this year, this is not a team that is lacking by any measure in the offensive categories. You see their numbers a year ago, that historic offense.
When you play a couple extra games, it's also nice to be able to garner some extra hits, but Texas offensive output last year, just hits 1 through 9, home runs, doubles, the power numbers were up. But also a big reason they were able to make that run. They were able to score runs. Obviously, we talked about Oklahoma City. It helps when Tegan Cavan doesn't give up any earned runs. But Texas, in almost every game, they played purely from the offensive side.
It's going to be an early morning for Ohio State. They play the first game tomorrow at 9:30 against Abilene Christian. Then they will see Texas 2 games later at 2:30 Central Time here in a rematch between these two. Texas still has Syracuse tonight, 30 minutes after the completion of this game. Nichols already a successful evening in the 9-hole. This one into the evening sky, but no concern for Limon. Buckeyes pitchers have done a good job keeping the Longhorn leadoff hitters off the bases, except for just back in the 2nd inning when Elisa Sneed had a double. That first out otherwise, it's been fairly easy to come by. Now back to the top of the order for Texas. Maloney 0 for 3 reached on that fielder's choice and would score in the 3rd inning. 2 away.
Right now it looks like Texas not real sure what pitch they're hunting. There were points in time in this game you can tell they're looking for the ball elevated, but now we see some of them chasing the ball well out of the zone, and right there, Ashton Maloney, if you're looking inside, not usually going to hit it that softly, so what pitch are you trying to hunt? Make sure you get it.
Kaden Henry has scored every inning in which she has come to the plate. She scored in each of the first 3 innings tonight, twice after walking, and once trotting. Her 3-run home run in the 2nd. And Kaden Henry, 4 home runs last year. Her home run tonight, her first of the young season.
Well, the junior, she has the power to leave the yard, even though it won't be at the same pace as like a Reese Atwood, but she has enough speed too that she can make a lot happen on the bases. We see here twice now in this at bat, showing bunt, trying to use her speed to get herself on base.
She's already walked twice tonight against Butte and Kay. Presumably we'll keep that bat on her back shoulder here with the 3-0 offering.
See Henry smiling at that one. She was taking 3-0, but that was pretty good pitch to drive if she had the green light.
Three-1 offering from Kennedy Kay. It's a walk to Henry, and if you don't get a double play ball, you're going to see Reese Atwood for a 4th time in the first 5 innings.
Kaden Henry already 2 stolen bases tonight. I would imagine Coach White will put her in motion early, get herself in scoring position for Leanne Good and or Reese Atwood.
Leanne Good batting .571 now on the year. Comes up with 2 outs and a runner on. I said a double play ball, obviously already 2 outs. Buckeyes hoping that Atwood will be stuck in the on-deck circle.
You can tell the speed of Texas is trying to test the defense of Ohio State. Ohio State playing back a little bit, knowing how hot or how hard the ball has been coming off Texas bat, but Leanne Good showing bunt after Kaden Henry did as well.
2-0 to Good. Out towards center. It's gone for a 2nd straight night. Leanne Good conquers the confines here at McCombs. And it means Reese Atwood will come to the plate with a chance to walk it off and say goodnight.
Well, not what you want, but after Leanne Good shows bunt, able to power this again, dead center field. Texas hitters liking the deepest part of the park here the first 2 nights at McCombs Field.
Do you walk the next 3 batters to try to get to the bottom third of the order for Texas?
I'll tell you right now, I put Reese Atwood on. I don't let her call the game here.
We're about to find out.
Granted, I understand Katie Stewart could call the game right behind her, but Katie Stewart, you've been able to keep her in the park for the most part tonight, so I take my chances.
2 home runs tonight for Atwood. Home runs 60 and 61 of her tenure at Texas. Maybe they saw the intentional walk effort last year in OKC and thought, we can't risk that.
You can risk it. You just have to execute it a little bit better.
2-run home run in the 2nd, grand slam in the 3rd.
But you talk about that intentional walk, and this looks like it's an unintentional intentional walk. You can tell they're not throwing anything close to the plate. That changeup low in the zone, the only thing that Reese Atwood could have gotten barreled to. But that intentional walk, man, that's going to go down in history as one of the most memorable plays.
Well, there was just again, Leanne Good has pushed the lead for Texas here in the bottom of the 5th to 7. Texas needs just 1 more for a run rule win. And as Leanne take a look at her trot around the bases, they've just brought in a pinch runner for Reese, hoping that this will be the final inning.
Well, Adea Wallace, known for her speed, and she's able to get herself around the bases at a high rate. Another savvy base runner with elite track type speed for Coach White.
All right, you mentioned it, Katie Stewart, more than capable in her own right, already 4 home runs this year. All of them last weekend in San Antonio. We saw her hit a walk-off home run in the Auburn series to help Texas sweep those 3 games last year. That was a more traditional walk-off where you're trailing and then you're not in the 7th inning.
It looks like they might be trying to be careful with Katie Stewart, too. Both these pitches have missed well out of the zone.
And that would put the potential winning run in scoring position with the pinch runner Wallace.
Which, while not conventional,
we get it.
You do have Lawson on deck. She's struck out twice today.
And Katie, one pitch after that grand slam from Atwood teased the fans here a little bit, thinking that maybe she was going to go deep, but ultimately would come up short. Would be the final out that inning.
And I think that's the big key for Katie Stewart here. You have Adea Wallace on first, who has speed, so you just have to put something into the outfield to let Adea Wallace run. It doesn't have to leave the ballpark, and a lot of times when you have teammates that are hitting the ball out of the yard, you want to try to play keep up and think you have to hit it out of the yard too, and you don't. Just get a base hit, get a double, be able to make quality contact. And if it's a home run, so be it.
Wallace was 7 of 8 in the stolen base department last year. They're not going to risk that here. 3-0 to Stewart, 4-pitch intentional walk of sorts. Back-to-back free passes by design. Wallace, the pinch runner, now 120 feet away from helping Longhorns improve to 6-1 potentially.
Well, here now, Matea Lawson's job is just get barrel to ball. If you can get something through the infield into the green, Adea Wallace is going to score with 2 outs. She is on the move.
First 2 batters this inning were retired in order. So with 2 outs, a walk, a home run, and another pair of walks. See if the freshman can come through. Lawson will give Texas a chance. Play at the plate. Ball game. Ohio State might seek to challenge, otherwise they'll set their alarms and be back at it tomorrow morning. Texas, the run rule victory for a 2nd straight night here at McCombs as they improve to 6-1. Matea Lawson with the game-clinching base hit.
Well, the freshman coming up big after 2 strikeouts earlier in the game. Aggressive first pitch, see something she can drive, ends up being the game-winning hit. And tip your hat, Citlali Gutierrez, her best outing so far in this young season, able to come in, keep Ohio State at bay for the most part.
We'll be back in 30 minutes and looking for Texas to pick right back up where they left off. Syracuse on the horizon.
Well, I'm gonna guess we're gonna see sophomore Cam Salmon, who had some of the best outings last weekend, in the next game. Texas gonna need her to go deep in that one.
Longhorns will see the Buckeyes again tomorrow. But again, next up in about half an hour, it's the Orange of the ACC. Buckeyes put up a fight against number 2 Texas, but it's the Longhorns with a run rule victory for a 2nd straight day here at the Bevo Classic.